Okay, so I actually just recorded this video, but I found out that my mic was not on, so very unfortunate. But I'm going to show you guys how I took this trade today with one tick precision execution. And yeah, I'll show you my P&L right here on my funded, $850 for today. And I'm 1 day away from taking a payout. So this is the trade that I took this morning. Here, I'll scale down into the 9:30 open. Okay, these black lines are just key levels that I marked out. I mark out the 6 p.m. open, 10 p.m. open, midnight open, and then 10 a.m. key open. And the 10 a.m. is marked out with the blue line. I normally take trades from the blue line, and that's why I mark it as blue because since I'm trading the New York session, I'm normally taking trades from the 10 a.m. key open, but not always like today. And these yellow or these greenish lines are my swing points. So I trade using key levels and swing points. And if you guys want a video on how I use swing points to trade, because it's kind of a mix of Powell strategy, if anyone watches Powell, or it's kind of a mix of ICT and Powell, like IFVGs, stuff like that. So coming to the market on the hourly time frame, we have a huge candle that's pushing to the downside to open, and it looks like we have a gap here that we could trace into, then bounce off of. So I was looking at that, but I was also seeing with such a huge candle to the downside, sometimes the market just continues with bearish structure moving in. So this is about, I hopped on the chart at around like 9:45, so around here. So this is what I was seeing. So after we took out all of this liquidity, I wanted to look for a retrace higher, and usually the higher probable setups in a day like today where we're just dumping, usually we look for a retracement into equilibrium or something like that, like a retrace into a 15-minute fair value gap, 5-minute fair value gap, something like that. And when I was coming into this, that's what I was looking for. And on the 5-minute, we actually set up a nice fair value gap right here that we could target. So let me mark that out. So a lot of people, when looking at the 5-minute fair value gap, sometimes they put their limit orders right at the start of it, and I'll show you why that's sometimes a problem. So we start coming back up right here, we tap into it, and then it looks like we start motioning to the downside, which I didn't take the setup right here because we still have a fair value gap down here. And when trading key levels and swing points, you want to be super precise with your entries. So I set my limit order right here. After I saw this, I set my limit order right here so that they bait most retail traders into going in here once we inverse this gap, because we tapped into this gap and it looks like we're going to continue lower. But I avoided taking this because I wanted to see consequent encroachment get filled, and I had conviction that this key open was going to get tapped into because of also this swing point above it. So I set my limit orders. I set a limit order for consequent encroachment right here, and then just above this swing point, because sometimes it'll skip over the key open, then tap into the swing point, then go. So, well, we just inverse this gap, then we start coming back up towards the 5-minute. Then we have the 10 a.m. key open, which sometimes I wait for, but because this setup had us moving into the 5-minute, and then we also have the new week opening gap down here as well, which we have not yet filled, I was thinking that we may want to continue lower. So once we come into here, then I get entered on this candle with about a tick of room, or maybe even less. We kind of just dance around here for a little bit. I was worried that we were going to react off the 10 a.m. then go up, but we reacted off the 5-minute gap, had a huge down candle right here. Then right about here, I take, because we swept this low, I take 2 contracts off. I was in a trade of 6 contracts with my funded 6 MNQ contracts. So I take 2 off right here because we swept this low. Then we start coming back up, and about right here, I take off all my other contracts except for one, because I was starting to get nervous because I didn't think that we were going to want to come all the way back up here. I was hoping that we would just flush through this. And so then once I started seeing motion to buy side, I started getting worried that we were manipulating the 10 a.m. key open, so convincing people to sell, then we were going to come back up, tap into the 10 a.m. key open, and look for longs. And I was worried that that was going to happen. So then I take all my contracts off on the live here, and then I keep one on the funded for this low here. And we come back in, tap into this gap right here, this bearish gap, and then continue flushing lower, which I was disappointed to see that I took my contracts off. But I mean, when looking at this isn't something that I want to sit in versus taking profits here. Like, I was worried about sitting in here. And, well, we actually don't even end up touching the 10 a.m. key open, which is why sometimes only focusing on the 10 a.m. key open isn't ideal, because we actually tap into this key open, which I think might be the 6 p.m. Yeah, so the 6 p.m. key open is what we actually ended up tapping into. We don't tap into the 10 a.m. key open, and then we just flush right after that. So I'm still happy with this trade, still happy with today. And yeah, let me know if you guys want me to do another video on swing points or just more on how I learned to be precise with these entries. And yeah.